Hey everyone, and welcome back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this a like if you're enjoying things. All right, so the Philadelphia Eagles, they're getting ready for the 2025 season, and coming off that huge Super Bowl win, there's a lot of talk about who they'll be facing in that first game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Super Bowl, they really made a statement crowding the Chiefs like that 40-22. They really showed everyone they were a force to be reckoned with. And, this year's opener is going to be even more special because they'll be raising their second Super Bowl banner in front of their home crowd. It'll be on a Thursday night, too.
Oh yeah, talk about an electric atmosphere. So who are we looking at as potential opponents for this big matchup?
Well, there are 8 teams in the running. 3 of them are from their division, the NFC East. So we got Washington, Dallas, and New York.
Right, those divisional games are always intense.
Yeah, absolutely. They always bring a certain level of rivalry. And, it wouldn't be surprising to see the NFL, kind of lean into that for the opener.
For sure, those games always have an extra edge to them. What about the other teams, though?
Well, outside of the NFC East, we got some interesting possibilities, too. We've got the Los Angeles Rams, Las Vegas Raiders, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears.
Okay, so a good mix of teams, each with their own, storylines and potential for a good matchup.
Exactly.
I'm kind of curious what ESPN analyst Adam Schefter thinks about this. He usually has a pretty good idea of what's going to happen.
Yeah, he does, and he's actually put his bet on the Chicago Bears. He thinks they're the front runners to play the Eagles on opening night.
Okay, interesting. Why does he think it'll be the Bears?
Well, he points out a couple of things. First off, the Bears have a new offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson.
Right.
And imagine, the narrative here, his first game in charge is against the reigning Super Bowl champs in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a trial by fire.
Exactly. And then there's the whole Bears story. They're coming off a pretty rough season. So this game, it could be the start of their comeback story.
Yeah, they definitely had a tough time last season, starting out 4-2, which looked promising, but then they just hit a wall, losing 11 straight.
Yeah, it was brutal. It led to some major changes. Like they fired their offensive coordinator and the head coach, but now with a new coaching staff, they're hungry to prove themselves. They could be the perfect underdog story for the NFL to put in the spotlight.
And we can't forget about their quarterback, Caleb Williams. I mean, his rookie season was a bit of a roller coaster, had some really bright moments, but also some growing pains.
For sure. And, he had to deal with those coaching changes and offensive inconsistencies. It wasn't the easiest situation for a rookie coming in. And now going into his second year, this game against the Eagles, it could be a pivotal moment for him.
Yeah, especially going up against that Eagles defense. I mean, they were absolutely dominant in the Super Bowl. They shut down Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense completely.
Oh, absolutely. If the Bears' offensive line isn't ready for that kind of pressure, it could be a really long night for Williams.
Yeah, no doubt. And then there's another layer to this potential matchup, Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that.
He was so close to signing with the Bears in the offseason.
I think he even said he was pretty damn close.
Yeah, that's right.
Imagine if he had, facing his almost team in the season opener. The Bears fans, they saw their team struggle running the ball all last season. They must have been pretty bummed when that deal fell apart. It would have been a totally different game. Barkley, he's a game changer, and he would have made a huge difference in their run game. But even without him on the Bears, there are other interesting matchups to think about.
Yeah, that's true. We've been so focused on the Bears that I almost forgot about the other 7 teams, all vying for that opening game spot.
Right. Like, how about the Denver Broncos? They got a new head coach, and they made some big moves in the offseason. They could be a real sleeper pick, looking to make a statement.
Yeah, they've definitely been busy. I mean, a matchup with them would put Russell Wilson against Jalen Hurts. That would be something else.
Oh, yeah, 2 incredibly dynamic quarterbacks going head-to-head. That would be a classic, and it would really showcase how the NFL is changing with these mobile quarterbacks who can run and throw.
Totally. And what about the Detroit Lions? They're another team that's been on the rise. After just missing the playoffs last year, they're going to be looking to prove they belong.
Yeah, the Lions, they're a really interesting team. They've got a strong offense, and their defense is getting better. Putting them up against the Eagles would be a real test for them. Could be a high-scoring shootout.
Yeah, I think what makes these matchups so interesting is the contrast in styles. You've got the Eagles, the reigning champs, with their incredible defense and, that efficient offense.
And then you've got teams like the Bears and the Lions who are trying to establish themselves. They're hungry, they're playing with something to prove, and they can be unpredictable.
Yeah, that's what makes the season opener so exciting. You never really know what's going to happen.
And speaking of unknowns, we have to talk about Caleb Williams again. I mean, he's a player with a ton of potential, but he's still a bit of a mystery.
He came into the league with so much hype, being the #1 draft pick, and he had those moments where he looked incredible.
But then the team started struggling and the coaching changes, that didn't help him at all.
It's really hard to judge a quarterback after just one season, especially when there's so much going on around him.
Yeah, he's still young. He's got time to develop. And let's not forget, he's got a lot of talent. This matchup against the Eagles and that defense, it could be a defining moment for him.
If he can stand in there against that pass rush and make plays, that would send a message to the whole league.
Exactly. It would show that he can handle the pressure. But, on the other hand, if he struggles, it's going to raise questions about whether he can really lead this team.
It's almost like this game could be a turning point, not just for the Bears season, but for his career too.
You're absolutely right. And that's what makes this matchup so compelling. It's not just about two teams playing a game. It's about the bigger picture, the narratives, the expectations, the future of these franchises.
Yeah, it really shows you how important every game is, especially that first one. It sets the tone, and it can have a big impact on the whole season.
And, for a team like the Eagles coming off a Super Bowl win, the pressure is even higher. They're the ones everyone wants to beat now.
It's a sign of their success, but it also means they're going to face a tough challenge every week, no matter who they play in that opening game.
That's what makes the NFL so great, right? Every game is a test, and even the best teams can be vulnerable. It keeps things exciting.
Yeah, thinking back to that Super Bowl win, it's hard to imagine anyone beating the Eagles. They were just dominant in every way.
Yeah, they were playing at a different level. Their defense was incredible, and their offense was unstoppable. But the NFL is unpredictable. Players get injured, teams come up with new strategies, and, sometimes unexpected teams rise to the top.
That's why all this talk about the season opener is so interesting. It reminds us that the NFL is always changing, and we all want to see what happens next.
We've looked at the possible matchups. We've talked about the storylines and what it all means. But at the end of the day, we just have to wait and see what happens on that Thursday night.
The anticipation is definitely building, and I can't wait to see what happens with the Eagles this season. Who will they play? How will they perform? Will they stay on top?
All good questions, and we'll get the answers soon enough. Until then, we can just enjoy the excitement and all the possibilities.
It's going to be a season to remember, that's for sure. Thanks for joining us for this breakdown. We'll be back soon with more insights and analysis as the 2025 NFL season kicks off.